welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it's a pleasure to speak with you guys and to make this video. So today's video is going to be based on the ongoing conflict that's been going on for quite some time now, since it's been decades and decades of conflict, but recently it has sparked up and has went beyond what it used to be. We have the event of October 7th, in which Hamas had attacked Israel. It's kind of sparked things back up again and caused a huge problem out in the Middle East, which has divided many people and many nations alike. So this video today is just to talk about whether or not Zionism has gone too far. Are Zionist extremists in the right, or are they wrong? Does Israel have a right to defend itself, as many proponents of Israel say? We're gonna kind of just delve into it and see differing views, and I'm willing and hoping that you guys will also offer your views in the comment section, as I'm willing to share mine. I think it's going to be an interesting video. We're going to watch a couple of debates, not long debates, just people exchanging ideas and point of views. It's going to be interesting. The first debate is going to be one held by Kenneth O'Keefe. He's a former Marine, and I kind of stumbled on him long ago. I watched one of his videos and he was very adamant in his criticism for some of the American politicians in how they comport themselves and how they react in regards to foreign policies as it pertains to Israel. So I'm hoping you guys enjoy this and we can all, just sit back and kind of engage and share our ideas and thoughts on what's going on. I think this is a prevalent issue. It's one that many people around the world identify with, especially the African American community and the African community as well, and other people who have been colonized throughout the world. Now, of course, like I said, this is a very sensitive issue and topic, so I'm hoping that we can all exchange our thoughts, but do so respectfully and, and just simply engage in a civic manner and in civil manner as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first interview we're going to watch will be this one right here. So it's an interview, again, between Kenneth O'Keefe, who's a former Marine, and another individual on the panel. I'm not familiar with the other man, so I just thought this would be really interesting. So yeah, let's get into it.
Arguing is what brings us to the subject we're talking about mainly, is what's happening in the Middle East. We seem to be...
Well, Hamas specifically...
Just a minute, will you be quiet for a moment? We seem to believe everything that comes out of the Hamas, who are terrorists, I'm sure you agree with that, who are over there doing despicable things both to Palestinians and anybody else they can. And yet our mainstream media put out whatever Hamas tell them as a fact.
Do you know that 0.02% of the human population has a massively disproportionate amount of control of the mainstream media?
I do.
Do you know who controls Hollywood? Are you suggesting that Hamas
Disney
is a counterweight to the...
Are you saying Hollywood is the media? The movie industry is the media?
And these are
the movies aren't the media.
Facts and truth.
Be quiet.
Truth. I don't disagree that propaganda exists on all sides, but the idea that the Islamic propaganda outweighs the...
Arguing is what brings us to the subject we're talking about mainly, is what's happening in the Middle East. We seem to be...
Well, Hamas specifically...
Just a minute, will you be quiet for a moment? We seem to believe everything that comes out of the Hamas, who are terrorists, I'm sure you agree with that, who are over there doing despicable things both to Palestinians and anybody else they can. And yet our mainstream media put out whatever Hamas tell them as a fact.
Do you know that 0.02% of the human population has a massively disproportionate amount of control of the mainstream media?
I do.
Do you know who controls Hollywood? Are you suggesting that Hamas
Disney
is a counterweight to the...
Are you saying Hollywood is the media? The movie industry is the media.
And these are
the movies aren't the media.
Facts and truth.
Be quiet.
Truth. I don't disagree that propaganda exists on all sides, but the idea that the Islamic propaganda outweighs the Jewish propaganda for the Jewish state of Israel
Hollywood, Die Hard, what are you talking about?
Be quiet.
At best.
Listen, that is not
You're mixing up the media with Hollywood. You're mixing up reality with movies.
You know, I think about sacking him every week, and I'm really beginning to think about it now. Yeah. The problem is...
I can use your mind.
You can't. The problem is that we are now allowing Hamas, who are terrorists, you've got to...
Listen, Let me reply.
There's no way you can.
I want to give you the satisfaction of getting a different answer from anything. First off, genocide. Let's get into that. To destroy in whole or part a national, ethnic, or religious group. That's Black's Law Dictionary. I've been quoting that ever since I made a film called The United States of Hypocrisy.
Which is not what's happening,
about
is it?
the Hawaiian genocide 25 years ago.
Is it?
That policy is carrying on to this day. Now, with regard to terrorists, the government in Ireland right now was the terrorist of the day back in Thatcher's days. Do you ever hear of a guy named Nelson Mandela? You ever hear of him? Yeah.
Patronising me.
Both sides of Ireland had terrorists. Both sides. You don't know it.
According to Margaret Thatcher and Ronald, terrorist. He became a much revered.
And I like to say, I think that's. I like the fact that he brought up Nelson Mandela, because this is something that a lot of people have brought up as well, where they feel as though Israel is a colonial state. This is a point that I kind of share as well, because when you look at the comparisons between what you see Israel doing and what you see what apartheid South Africa was doing, there's a lot of similarities there. So I think just giving you guys a fair assessment as to why that point was brought up. But let's continue.
And respected man. He did.
You don't understand.
He did. So. Listen, Hamas, by the way, was democratically elected. They have never been given an opportunity to allow the political process. Jimmy Carter himself said it was a valid election. Now, if you ask about what they
nearly ruined the world. You can't go on like that. Jimmy Carter and Obama, probably the two worst presidents in America.
If you want to say that the election was invalid, fair enough. You don't have to like them. I don't like any of them. They all should be. I took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, to fight all enemies, foreign and domestic. So help me God. I took that serious. That was a 19-year-old kid that I was. I've taken that serious ever since.
So you've got the experience to understand.
They're all traitors, all of them.
But why?
Every president except Kennedy.
Why is it now acceptable? Let's put it this way, and you please be quiet. Why is it so acceptable to be anti-Semitic? We've had marches through our
The Palestinians are Semitic. They are speaking Semitic languages coming from the Semitic region.
It's perfectly acceptable to walk through the capital of this country shouting, "Kill the Jews," from the river to the sea.
Where do you hear that?
I've heard it on a lot of news programs. They're not putting it out now.
Which news program? I want to know.
News programs.
Which one?
Go and look.
I've looked all the time. I've never heard anybody talking about.
Let's talk about the 40,000 dead. Let's talk about the 40,000 dead.
Well, please tell the whole audience where to find it. I don't know where to find that. I've not seen that.
I think that's kind of a lazy argument to make. If you're gonna say something as serious as that, then you should have your sources in order. And I mean, if you're just engaging in a conversation with your friends or whatnot, yeah, then it's you can well, hold on, I'll look it up online or whatnot. But when you're on a panel like this, you're in front of the media, you're engaging in this type of conversation. It's a bit irresponsible to make claims like this and then not have any sources to cite. So I'm not a fan of that.
My research.
That's what they all do that. But let's talk about
I haven't seen it. Where is it?
All right.
Why can't you cite it? Show it. Tell people where to go.
I am not going to go and find it. Go online and look for the marches.
From the river to the sea. You've seen that, haven't you?
Do you know about Greater Israel? Do you know what Greater Israel is?
Forget all this crap. What about the 40,000? Let's talk about the 40,000. Let's talk about.
Do you know about Greater Israel?
Forget all that crap.
Do you know about the Samson option?
Just forget all this. Do you know about the Samson option? Conspiracy crap. Let's talk about what's going on.
There's no conspiracy.
Let's talk about what real stuff.
Samson option's a conspiracy.
All right, let's talk about.
Do you know a guy named Mordecai Vanunu who exposed the nuclear weapons program?
Do you believe there's 40,000 dead?
How about John F. Kennedy who stood up to them and wanted Demona inspected?
This is irrational.
There's no conspiracy theory there.
Now the Demona inspection is a very real thing, that actually did happen. JF Kennedy used to make inquiries on wanting to inspect certain, like the Demona plant, because they were under suspicion of having built nuclear weapons. So he wanted to inspect that, but Israel flat out refused. And unfortunately, his efforts never made it far. As you all know, JFK was assassinated, and his efforts basically went in vain, and there were no further inspections of the Demona plant or any pressure to inspect the Demona plant for nuclear weapons. And now today we do know for a fact that Israel does have nuclear weapons, but at the time it wasn't confirmed yet.
The main story we're trying to talk to you about is the 40,000 dead. Do you agree there's 40,000 dead with the Hamas health ministry?
Do you agree with that?
You're not confused.
Okay, excuse me. Excuse me. You are trying to ask a leading question to get the answer you want. I'm going to answer the question. I'll tell you what I do know. There's about 20,000 dead kids. And even if they're not,
how many dead
by the way, do you grieve over those 3 kids that died recently? Do you grieve over those kids, those children that were stabbed?
Will you be quiet?
Do you care?
1 minute.
Is there 1,000? Is it 2,000, 3,000, 5,000? How many dead kids are there? How many dead kids? Do you value their lives equally?
Quiet now.
Do you?
You did that as a Marine.
Do you value the lives of the Palestinian children
I should be throwing
equally?
myself out in a few.
Now, one thing I must say, I always appreciate Mr. O'Keefe's passion. I think it's important for people to be passionate on that level and to have that level of knowledge and awareness to stand up to this, because we reached a point where it's like, you know, there are some people who feel attacked when they're challenged, and I don't think that's how it should be. People should be able to engage in conversations. The word anti-Semitic should not be used to shut down a conversation because somebody disagrees with you or challenges you on your views or your perspective or even your account of history. So, again, I really appreciate Mr. O'Keefe's standpoint and his passion as well.
Few minutes.
You're a Marine. Children got killed. It's called collateral damage.
Too many kids. By the 4th largest military in the world.
Hang on, both of
using
you.
the highest type weapons.
Be quiet, both of you, or you're going to have to go. You're going to have to go out. Listen, you're ruining the program.
Yeah, war.
You're going to have to go out.
You've never been in a war. I've been in a war.
Yeah,
That ain't
listen,
war. That's a
I know what
slaughter.
collateral damage is.
You need to go. I feel like most normal people sorry for anybody, particularly children, who get killed.
Exactly.
Very bad. For the hundreds of thousands of kids across the world, in Yemen, in Sudan, various places that never come on our media. I feel sorry for all of them. I also feel sorry for our Jewish community, who sometimes are now living in fear in parts of this country because of the people who seem to want to support a terrorist organisation. Even our media, the BBC, who the sooner we get rid of them, the better as far as I'm concerned. Not until I've done Celebrity
British
MasterChef.
Propaganda Corporation.
But you know, they just take and put out what a terrorist organisation say.
I thought you liked the BBC.
Just be quiet.
You like the BBC.
Sorry about this, but I mean, every week I am going to sack him. I've had
I've
him
kicked
for
the
25
BBC's ass
years.
2 times. They
The
invited me on
collateral
Hard
damage
Talk.
is 1-to-1. It's a record
Ash,
in urban
will you
warfare.
stop
If you speak
taking
to
it
Colonel
elsewhere?
Richard Kemp.
Ash, I've got
Did
only
you
a
believe
few
in the weapons
seconds
of
to be
mass
quiet.
destruction too,
No, not
Ash?
at all. Not at all.
Really?
Look,
Neither did I.
Can you not look at him and talk to him because he's a pain in the ass? Listen, the fact is that we are living in a society where social media bend the truth. And they don't do it on purpose. The fact is that human beings are lazy and we tend not to look into what we've seen. And so if you see something that's online, you think of it the same as it being on the media or whatever. And eventually it all will be. But you must use your own mind to make up decisions and not be told by other people what to think. Had there been genocide on the West Bank, and by the way, on Gaza, by the way, the people who go around like the Jewish settlers, I would lock all of those up. Set fire to that village the other day.
And for those that don't know, who are the Jewish settlers? So essentially, the Jewish settlers are people who have taken up the West Bank within Israel. The West Bank is an area where there was primarily a lot of Palestinian people that were residing there. Now you have what you call Jewish settlers who reside in Israel, who go over there, who take their homes. If you guys want me to show you a couple of videos of these interactions, they're really heartbreaking. I've seen some online, and I'm always willing to, you know, make additional videos to share, and, you know, a compilation, excuse me, I always had trouble with that word, a compilation of different events that occurred, concerning the West Bank and some of the stuff that have taken place there. Yeah, so when he's talking about illegal settlements, it's basically just, you know, people of Israel or the Jewish people coming in there and essentially kicking out the Palestinians and just taking their homes by force. So imagine you come home one day and you have an individual at your door saying, no, this is my house now. And they call the authorities, which are the Jewish authorities, and they'll come there and essentially just have the Palestinian individual removed. So, and these actions have been deemed by the international community to be considered illegal. Right, so these are illegal, and then they're against international law. Yet somehow still, it gets practiced. Somehow still, it's active, and it's common activity in Israel, and nothing has been done about it, despite you know, international criticism. But anyhow, let's return to the video. This is why he's saying he will lock them up, because it's been well understood to be illegal.
In my mind, vile, horrible. But let me just make this point, and then you can come back. The point is, had there been any kind of genocide in Gaza, it would have been finished, the fight, a long time ago.
Okay, listen. Now, as a student of law who takes law very seriously, it seems, James, that you're waiting for every single one of the Palestinians to be exterminated before you're willing to acknowledge a genocide. The whole point of bringing charges at the International Criminal Court is to avoid the ultimate genocide. Now, by the way, Greater Israel, getting back to it, you say it's a conspiracy. That's ignorant, by the way. Greater Israel is an absolutely declared intention plan. And guess who stands in the way of Greater Israel more than anybody else? The Palestinians, because they have a lawful claim to that land. Historic Palestine is known as a factual reality. It's in the Bible, which you may or may not care about. The bottom line is the history books make this clear. Jesus was a Palestinian from Nazareth, no less. These are the descendants of Jesus of Nazareth. Whether you love him, hate him, acknowledge him,
you take it back to history, we're never going to get anywhere, are we?
Well, yeah, see, here's the thing. That's a double standard. Because when you discuss this issue with, people of the Jewish faith, they will argue that they have their roots in Palestine. Like, that whole area in the Middle East is where they used to live thousands of years ago and so forth. So to sit here and say, well, we cannot look at it from a historical perspective is hypocritical, in my opinion. If when the other side does it, there's no criticism, but yet when we apply that same perspective to the Palestinian, all of a sudden it's like we got to disregard that and not acknowledge it. I think that's a double standard.
No, can we not talk about the 40,000 dead? Can we not talk about
historical facts?
Are we going to talk about that or not?
What do you want to talk about?
I want to, because
what do you want to know?
I want to know if you think 40,000 dead is the lowest ratio of innocent people killed compared to terrorists in modern urban warfare.
If we listen to The Lancet, they say the actual number is going to be about 187,000.
So Hamas are underestimating it, are they? Hamas are on Israel's side
Well,
now.
Then wouldn't that really upset you then, Ash?
That must be a load of bunkum,
So what do you think of The Lancet? Since you don't like Hamas, what do you think the Lancet? The British medical journal, The Lancet. What do you think of their
BMA,
figures?
they're totally non-political. Yeah, of course.
So who's your source then for truth?
You know about the
How do
BMA
you know anything? Where do you get your knowledge?
Thank you both.
So you want to downplay the dead people for what?
Say goodbye.
You get paid to say this?
That'll be all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, I think I'm gonna cut this video short today. I think there was a lot to take in. Different perspective to kind of reflect on. So I'm hoping you guys do just that. I'm hoping we can have an exchange again, like I said throughout this whole video. Exchange ideas, exchange perspectives, and if you disagree with some of the prompts on this video and some of the perspective, that's totally fine. Feel free to express your own. Feel free to enlighten us with your perspective, whether left, right, whether Israel, whether Palestine, whether, whatever the case may be. Again, this is just to promote civic engagement and, to kind of have us all discuss and find common ground. So, again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like, subscribe, drop a comment, share the video. It helps this channel and these videos get across different viewers. And, it's of tremendous help. So thank you again. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will be dropping another video soon in regards to the same topic. And but next time it will be on Bassem Youssef. You guys may or may not know him. He's a proponent of Palestine, and he kind of speaks about the conflict, and he has Palestinian family members. He himself is from Egypt. He's a current comedian, but he used to be a surgeon, heart surgeon at that. So brilliant man, and very entertaining as well in his debates. I think you guys are gonna love him. You guys are gonna enjoy his videos and his debates and his talking points, as well as hearing from his opposition. So again, I hope you guys tune in next time. If you enjoyed, you know what to do. Thank you guys so much, and have a good one.